Hello. This message is going to be a bit different, but I feel very guided to talk about this, and I have had people over the few years that I've been doing this ask me about it, and that's knowing the difference between anxiety and intuition. And I'm going to, oh, hello. A man walked by with a shovel and was clearing out the sidewalks, our walkways through our apartment complex. And I feel like that's a lot of what this message is about, at least for me, the intention behind the message that I am choosing to share with you, that I was delivered to, like it was brought to my attention. Because, again, just a lot of people have asked, and actually, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. One day you're just gonna see it. But for now, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between anxiety and intuition, and just a very quick, easy way. Well, I say quick and easy as if it doesn't take time and discernment and learning, but a quick and easy way for you to start to understand the difference between the two, just for the sake of your own clarity and your own understanding and your ability to move forward freely in life. So, one of the biggest things is intuition is very quiet, whereas anxiety is very loud. Intuition is backed by truth, whereas anxiety is backed by fears and doubt. And so, one of the best ways to be able to really clear up any confusion between the two is to sit down, right? Maybe during meditation, maybe when you do receive insights yourself about situations, you sit down and you don't just take what is told to you at face value, right? Because if it's intuition, it's backed by truth, so it can withstand questioning, which is what you are meant to do. And it is also 8:58 on my timer. Timer clock. I keep seeing it, and I wasn't going to use numbers, but that feels very relevant. That is a very big angel number just for me. And so, anyways, back to what I was saying, that you are meant to question a lot of what you receive, because you receive both from your mind and from your higher self, your soul. And if you don't take the time to really question what it is you are receiving, then that is called blind faith, which is not true faith, and it can easily mislead you. So I'm trying to think of an example, okay? Like, let's say around trust, all right? You get an intuitive ting around trusting somebody, and it goes, okay. Like, say somebody cancels, right? Rejection can be one of a very big fear that many people face. So say you have a friend or a partner or something, and you have maybe like a date or a plan to go out, and something comes up last minute, and they're like, hey, I'm actually going to have to rain check on this thing. Maybe it's work, maybe they're just not feeling fully up to it, or something personal has gone down that they need to see to, and they're like, this is coming up, I'm very sad to say, or very sorry to say, that we will have to rain check, but I do wish that, like, I could have seen you. I do wish that the plan and the dream we had were to come true. And so you could respond with a sense of upsetness, right? And if you allow yourself to sit in that upsetness, maybe you'll come to discover that you don't believe it to be true, or you don't trust that this person actually wanted to spend time with you. And therefore, the more that you investigate it, the more that you realize that you have an insecurity around rejection, and an insecurity that maybe someone doesn't really want to spend that time with you. Maybe deep down you're afraid someone would say that because they don't want to actually tell you that they don't like you, or that they don't want to spend the time with you. And it becomes something that your fear makes personal. But you follow up being like, okay, but You know, is this a pattern or is this like something out of the blue? Hold on. Maybe you sit with this and you realize that this is a rare occasion. And so this is really your mind showing you where you have an insecurity rather than your intuition telling you where you need to start to fear a certain situation or start to think anything different than what the truth is really showing to you, which is that maybe something came up. Sometimes that's just the complexity of life. Now, on the other hand, this could be a pattern, or maybe you recognize this is a pattern that they do with other people or with you, and maybe it is a little bit deeper. And your safety does come from the hurt that their patterns cause rather than the fear of past patterns have caused. Now, that would be your intuition telling you, hey, maybe this person doesn't have best intentions. They may not have ill intentions, but they just don't have best intentions. They may not be as considerate as you may need for someone to be involved in your life. You know, things along those lines, right? And it shows you more about what you're needing and what this truth is telling you. And your intuition is telling you that they're not meeting the mark and that this is something you need to release and move forward from. Or, you know, there's many other different paths that will come up with your intuition. Again, this is just one hypothetical I'm trying to utilize this lesson through. And so that would be your intuition coming in to be like, hey, so you know, this just feels like misalignment, you know? Let's not swing towards hatred or anger or frustration. Not to say that you can't experience those things, because it's important if you feel them that you experience and release them to allow yourself to step into a lighter energy and continue on your path in the right directions towards the right people rather than staying in bitterness or resentment, which will keep you stuck and continuing actually perpetuating more anxiety-based intuition rather than true intuition. So, one, very important, you also heal from your past so that you can, again, decipher the difference between true intuition and anxiety through the mind. But I feel like that was all I was really going to say about that situation. And so if you really, you know, break that down, it does show that sometimes, you know, the intuitive nudges that you get are actually your ego trying to protect you through maybe pattern recognition or just past resentments and hurts that haven't been fully addressed. So there's subconscious fears that pop up in little bitty moments that maybe you don't have the full consciousness to stop offhand or recognize offhand. But if you allow yourself to slow down, to sit down and sit with yourself and what you're experiencing and challenge it, the truth is going to be revealed, right? Because true intuition is backed by truth. So no matter how much you challenge, no matter how many questions you ask, the truth will always sit still and it won't move. Now, anxiety, it will start to bounce around because where that true intuitive nudge was coming from was not from a place of soul, but from a place of wound, from a place of lack, from a place of fear, of doubt, right? So if you're really wanting to get really in touch with your intuition and really start to decipher the difference between the two, it really starts with opening up your heart, really embracing your feelings, allowing them to teach and guide you so that you can have that deep relationship with yourself to know, hey, my anxieties and my fears are speaking for me. Let me not become reactive and respond as if that's truthfully what's going on, right? How we subconsciously live through our past can repeat the past. That's kind of where that cycle comes from. Versus, oh, I'm actually at peace and there's this nudging truth that is coming through to teach me, to guide me. And so the more that you really sit with your emotions, the more that it'll be easier to decipher between the two, because your emotions won't have a hold on you because they're repressed and explosive and reactive. They'll actually have a truth to teach and guide you through rather than to whiplash you. And so that's kind of what I had over today's deep talk around intuition versus anxiety. I pray this is finding who it's needing to find at the moment it needs to find it, and that it helps illuminate and clear the path for you, just like that man with the shovel did for our apartment complex. Bless you, sir. and y'all have a blessed rest of your day. And I'll see you another time. Bye.